Cool. So recording is on, and now I'm going to just briefly explain what I see is the key to success in a CDP project. And this was inspired by two things. One was a podcast about CDPs that I was listening to recently, and I saw that a lot of even experienced people in the industry have a lot of misconceptions about CDPs. And the other thing that inspired me was a discussion that I was leading on MergeCamp, where there were some people who are going to use CDP, some were just interested, some kind of are partners of CDPs, and they had quite a lot of questions and misconceptions as well. So based on that, I try to put together my thoughts, and I see that a lot of the CDP projects, they start with different motivations. Sometimes it's a replacement of a vendor. Sometimes it's to execute some use cases. Sometimes it's bringing new capabilities. And it's kind of simplified, but I would boil it down to these three areas. And now this has a big influence on how the project is going to be executed and who on the client side is owning the project. And this is the motivation to start a cooperation, but it should never be the end goal. So because in the end, CDP has much more potential than CDP like Exponea has much more potential than just a few use cases or just few capabilities. And you should strive to understand the full potential and deliver on that. Hopefully I'll explain, it will be clearer when I explain more. So kind of this is how you can look at it, that there are some platform capabilities, and usually when you look at most of our projects, they use just some of the potential. Mm-hmm. And originally I thought that now our responsibility is to help the client to use more potential. But then I realized that it's not really the complete picture. And the complete picture is like this, that there are some business needs and there are some platform capabilities, and they don't overlap completely. And it's just the overlap, which is the area of potential. And now to the question, like how to choose a CDP, is to choose a CDP which has the biggest overlap with your business needs. And for that, you really need to understand your business needs and the capabilities. And now the business needs, when your motivation is just to execute some use cases, that can give you very limited view on your business needs. For example, they knew that they want to do segmented email campaigns. And so they acquired Exponea. And it was kind of just a pure luck that they acquired a tool, which actually 1-2 years later, they realized has much more potential for them. Mm-hmm. Because for the use cases that they were solving for, they could have acquired, and maybe it would work the same for them in the email segmentation, but it wouldn't give them so much more of the potential. So that's one thing to realize, that we see that sometimes it's like the CRM people who acquire a CDP, sometimes it's the BI people that's in, I don't know, for example, sometimes it's the marketing people, and sometimes it's really the people who acquire it as a CDP. So for example, they understand what they want from the CDP. And it's very important to understand that if it's different people from different departments, they have different view on the business needs. And it's kind of the role of the CDP solutioning team to understand the bigger picture and not just what what the stakeholder on the other side is needing, but what are the other stakeholders in the company. So that's one thing. Yeah, how to choose the right vendor is look for the biggest overlap. And then how to recognize a good vendor is that the vendor is aware of this, that there is a difference between the needs and the capabilities, and that the vendor, so especially like the solution consultants, they need to be able to identify the overlap, and then the client services team, mainly like the customer success and the consultants, need to systematically like utilize more and more from the area of potential. So it could be that like the initial scope will be focused on just very limited part, and it's good because quite often that's the best way to go, just to deliver some use cases which bring value. But then the key is understand that this is not finished and that there is actually much more in the platform. So that way you can get to some Holy Grail, which is combining three things. So like you have the holistic approach to customer centricity across the whole organization. So it's not anymore just something sitting in the CRM department, but like in it's e-commerce people using Exponea, it's optimization people using Exponea, it's CRM people using Exponea, and it's the head of data using Exponea, and it's actually even the IT, which decided not to do something with their developers, and instead of that they use Exponea to deliver those use cases. So that's like the holistic approach, that now we have like some customer-centric tool, and we need to understand where is the value across the whole organization, not just one thing. And the holistic approach means that the decisions in the company are really informed by the customer-centric insights. And as Peter talks a lot, if you want to drive customer loyalty, you need someone on the C-level who has a KPI focused on customer loyalty. And this is one of the key pieces as well, that the incentivization mechanisms of the whole organization should be aligned with the customer centricity, and then the organizational structure as well. Because we've seen that in some of our clients, that like the CRM people were looking at it very with a tunnel vision, just optimizing, I don't know, email open rates, and not really looking on like how is the emailing contributing to building a better relationship with the customer overall. And that means that sometimes it's even good to send less emails and generate less email interaction when it will make the customer happier and he will communicate through different channels. So it needs to be, it can't be the siloed approach. And then like the another sign that you are having this holistic approach is that it's members of several teams that can really say that they understand the customer and they have access to the full customer profile. So that's one part, to have kind of this holistic approach on using customer data platform to develop understanding of the customer across the whole organization. But the other thing is that sometimes this could be a trap, especially when I see some of the tenders now we are part of, they are just going for this, that, oh, we want to understand customer, but they don't know how are they going to use the understanding. They don't have the use cases yet. So there should be the second part as well, that you have a clear idea how to feel some like data activation. So you have data about the customer, what are you going to do with this? And it can be simple things like segmenting the emailing and using ideal send time optimization and not giving vouchers to people who don't care about discounts, who are not price sensitive. But there needs to be the use cases, because otherwise it can take like lots of months to implement the customer understanding without seeing any action. So that's why I actually like the approach that took, that they went for the CRM use cases, and then they were ready and open to discuss how we can help them more with the CDP that they have. And then part of it that you need team skill set that will enable this. So we see that some clients really do hire, for example, like front-end designers to the team that works with Exponea, so they can deliver experiments, they can deliver some more advanced email templates. So in order, when you understand the area of potential, there should be maybe a third circle, which is like the skill set that you have right now. And then you see, there are some business needs. There are the platform capabilities. I can deliver on them. I just don't have the skill set. So I need to either build the skill set in the team or hire some people to work with that. And that's about it.